Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, it's our pleasure to present to you the newest name in Delaware sports and sports around the world, who has had absolutely no success in the real world, so he's dedicated his life to talking sports. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Huddle with me, Coach Muddle. Nevada Nick, how you doing?
Doing well, Coach. Doing well.
You know, we had a lot of stuff going on in a lot of stuff going on. There it is. All right. In the world of, some crazy stuff with sports.
Right.
And big news coming out of Philadelphia. Do you want to start with that? Or what?
Yeah, that works. I'm having the same trouble I think you're having too. With the video, is that what you're having trouble with?
Yeah, yep.
I don't know what's going on. Look, Coach, I think it was the right decision. You know what I mean? I think you know that. I mean, look, it was the move to make. And look, I think it's good for Carson to kind of sit back and, in a way get humbled, and see what happens. But it was a move. I mean, honestly, this might have been a move that should have happened a couple weeks ago. You know what I mean? Or a week or two ago.
Right.
It needed to happen. Let Carson sit back and watch, Jalen Hurts play, get humbled a little bit. And because, Coach, I think, he needs to be broken back down. His mechanics, his feet, decision-making, there's a lot of problems, and it needs to get broken down. But I thought, honestly, Jason Kelce said it best, Coach. And just so I'm going to read it verbatim, basically what he said. He said stuff before, basically just said, it comes down to more of a failure of every position, including coaches, to facilitate a functioning offense. And he goes, that basically said that's the biggest story here, and just how he couldn't believe that, they're at this point, and that it's come to this, that, all the success they had and as good as Carson looked, that we're here. But the way he put it, it's true. It's not all on Carson, and it's not. I mean, is Carson part of the problem? No doubt. Does he deserve – look, he's the quarterback. He's going to get the most blame. But it's a lot of factors. And look, it's three people mainly. I mean, it is the team too. It is the offensive line. But obviously it's Doug, it's Howie, and it's Carson. And in those three, you may call me crazy, I'd put Carson 3. I really blame Doug and Howie more than I blame Carson. I mean, I would put those two ahead of him. But no, Carson deserves a lot of blame. I mean, he hasn't played well. His decision making has been questionable at best, and there's a lot of issues. But Doug and Howie haven't exactly made things easier for him. I mean, obviously the drafting of the wide receivers is well known. Coach, I couldn't believe this stat when I heard it. The last 50 draft picks for the Eagles, one Pro Bowler. One. And guess who that was? Carson Wentz.
Right.
I mean, that's, Coach, especially with a team that's won a Super Bowl 3 years ago and getting older, you look at Andre Dillard, you need to hit those picks, because then Andre Dillard is your left tackle on a rookie deal, and you get receivers. Jeffrey goes out and Jackson goes out, and you get a good receiver to come in and fill it. And, they just haven't done it. I mean, and that's the problem. They're a mixed bag of older veterans who aren't good anymore. Jeffrey, Ertz, he can still play a little bit, but Ertz has declined a lot. And a bunch of young players that aren't good. And that's a problem. I mean, and look, I can't believe this, Coach, but I really think the Eagles are looking at a few years of some bad football here. Look.
Right, because they're way over the cap. Aren't they 50, 60 million over the cap?
Yeah, and Coach, too, it. I mean, defenses, as you know, is what's going to help you get good quick. And I think the Giants and the Redskins are just a step ahead. Now, the Giants and the Redskins, but Redskins need to find their quarterback still. And Giants, I think now with your success, you give Danny Dimes another year. try to fill out the team
agree.
around them on the line. I still think he could use a weapon here or there, a
We
tight
don't have
end,
a
maybe
true number
receiver.
one.
Yeah.
I know look, Slayton's my guy. I love Slayton. But
He's a
the
complimentary
more I
receiver.
watch him, he's more of a complimentary. He's more of a number two guy than,
But he's good at that.
number one. And he's good. That's right. So you add,
But Coach, get him that number one and watch how much better he gets too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And really excited about how the offensive line is really gelling together. Mark Colombo gets fired, and now all of a sudden Andrew Thomas has the highest rookie grade of the season.
Yeah.
87.1 he graded out this last game, which is that's huge. That's why you drafted him number 4 overall, to be that 10-year starter.
Yeah. And the one thing, Coach, we've said it all year, even when they were 1-7, the Giants, what's up, Stiz? What's up, Angela? The Giants have played physical football. They really have. And, we said it in their losses to the Bucks and to the Rams. The Giants look good. They have a losing record, yes. Right. But they looked like a physical football team, and now they're starting to put it together. I mean, look, they shut down Russell Wilson last week, who is top 3 right now in the MVP vote.
Mr. Irrelevant. Irrelevant played because you remember Blake Martinez went out early in that game.
Yeah. And he's been a good player for him too.
Let me tell you, that was quietly one of the better signs.
Oh yeah,
Gettleman. Listen, I'm by no means am I jumping on the Gettleman bandwagon. All of a sudden, I still think Gettleman must go. Okay, well, don't confuse it. But he has made some quiet moves. I mean, Bradbury was the number 2.
That was a good pick.
DB. And they
got him instead of paying the other guy a ton of money. That was a good move. I agree with that. We both said that.
And that's a great move. But really, I think Pat Graham has done
great.
He's made chicken shit into chicken salad because if you remember me all summer, I was all hyped up on this Giant offense. Oh, we're going to score 35 plus points. We're going to lose games 38-35, 41-30. That was it. And now here it is, the defense showing up big.
Right.
And how funny is it? I still don't agree with what the Giants gave up for Leonard Williams, but all of a sudden Big Cat is but here's my fear about Big Cat. And
once he gets paid, he's not going to show it.
Albert Haynesworth just keeps popping up into my head when I see this guy. But granted, last year he came into Belcher's scheme and it didn't really work out. But now all of a sudden he is flourishing.
Yeah. Now, and one thing, Coach, it's always been talked about how Belichick's disciples all struggle. Well, I'll tell you, man. You look at Flores now, and I'm not a closet Redskins fan. You look at Flores and you look at Judge, and they both look good. And Patrick Graham obviously learned under Belichick. He confused Russell Wilson last week. He really confused Russell Wilson. And, Wilson, one of the smarter quarterbacks. That's tough to do.
Yep.
And he really kind of confused him. Might have went back to the Super Bowl, obviously when New England played Seattle and took some of those coverages from that possibly. But look, Patrick Graham too, especially if the Giants make the playoffs, he might get a little chatter for a head coaching job.
I think the chatter's already there, and I think look, the Giants need to just pay him more money so he doesn't go.
I agree.
This is really what kind of trips up a team like the Giants that are starting to, all I hear is from New York is, oh man, this is the old Giants. This is the way, with Parcells and yes, but Belichick was his defensive coordinator the entire length of his time in New York. So, now with teams changing, and I really would hate for it to, kind of kick the Giants and lose Patrick Graham. Let's stay another year. And let's see if we can really
now,
make a move now.
Coach, I'll tell you, the line for the Eagles-Saints game is only 7 points. And when you talk about the Saints, I think they've given up one offensive touchdown since week 9. So the defense is playing lights out. We see how bad – I mean, the Eagles' offense is horrible. But the Saints are only a 7-point favorite. I understand it's on the road, but I'm a little surprised about that. I think they feel like, the Saints have covered 5 straight games. They've won 9 straight games, kind of like the Steelers last week, maybe due for a bad game. And you know it too, Coach. There's that unknown now. I was kind of disappointed Doug named Jalen Hurts the starter early. I'd have let it hang to like Saturday and then thrown it out there because, now you got that element of – he had 29 yards rushing in less than like a quarter and a half, maybe a little bit less last week. He might tuck that ball and run and make some plays in the running the football at quarterback this week. So I'm curious to see how he looks. And then you want to bring up what you had thought, Coach, about why maybe Doug might be playing Jalen Hurts this week.
About this offline, and I really think that it's more of, Wentz is so broken right now, and this is more to satisfy everyone. That's the number 1 defense in the league. Let Wentz sit down, put Hurts in there. If Hurts has a bad game, you can always say, look, Hurts is just as bad. We're going back to Carson. We're going to ride this pony out and go from there. And it kind of saves a little face with everybody. But, Jalen Hurts is a winner. Everywhere he's gone, he's played on the big stage. He's not gun shy at all.
No.
And you run into, because now you kind of paint yourself in a corner. Should Jalen Hurts come out and have, a game and start slinging the rock and running it and they come up with a win, and now they're back in the NFC hunt.
Yeah.
And,
and look, and let's think, and what's possible too, Coach. Imagine, let's just say the scenario wins. The Saints are pretty much right now considered the second best team in football behind the Chiefs by a lot of people. I mean, you could say third, whatever. They're a top 3 team. We all agree on that.
Right.
Let's say the Eagles come out and beat them. And then the Giants and Redskins just so happen to lose. Well, now the Eagles are a half a game back. You just won with Hurts. I mean, obviously, I think if they win, they're obviously going to continue with Hurts.
Right.
But you have the bigger problem of what do you do with Wentz? I mean, if they trade him, I think it's like $35 million. But who's going to take that contract on? They can't cut him. It's $59 million if they cut him. If they trade him, it's like $35 million.
Right.
But who's going to take? I mean, Coach, this was the last year of his rookie deal, so you need to take on that full 4-year, $128 million contract if you do that trade. Who's going to do it? I mean, so if Hurts does good down the stretch and they say, all right, we're going to move forward with Jalen Hurts, you're going to have a $34 or $32 million backup. I mean, it's insanity. Right. And you know what, Coach, we talked about the mistakes in the front office, but we argued about that, and that's going to be the biggest one is not paying Wentz. They should have never done it, and you wouldn't be in this predicament. You could have let him finish out his 5th year this year, and then, you could always go into the franchise tag for 2 years if you had it to. Right. I mean, it's a huge mistake now to save a few $1 million a year.
But honestly, I think you'd have to just eat the $34 million. And like you said, you're going to go through some lean years because you're in cap hell. So I really think that you're going to, you'd have to eat that. And look, the better Jalen Hurts does, the further Carson Wentz stock drops. So, we're going to get a 2nd-round pick. I don't think so. I'd be lucky if you get a 4th-round pick for him. I don't think you get lower than a 4th, but 4, maybe a 3. But
well, the contract's a problem now too, Coach. You know what I mean? The contract's a big problem. Yeah. I almost wonder, and I know this might sound nuts, but you might have to sweeten the deal and say, we'll give you Carson Wentz and a 3rd-round pick, and you give us a 4th-round or a 5th-round back, or you actually give to get them to take the contract on. I mean, I don't know, but it may happen. I mean, you're taking on a lot of risk. You might get a team like Indianapolis that may say, you know what, we're willing to take that risk. We have a lot of cap room. Maybe Frank Reich thinks I can bring him into Indy with our offensive line, add some weapons to the outside, and we can fix them. And I wouldn't think that would be that's a possibility. It really is. I'm not done with Carson Wentz. I think if he gets into the right situation, he can be good. I mean, honestly,
well,
you put him in San Francisco. Put him in San Francisco, Coach. You don't think he could go there and be successful with that offensive line?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I mean. So he just needs, just like you said about Sam Darnold, he needs to find the right situation for himself. Right. And right now, I don't think it's in Philly.
Right. I totally agree. You got a small town market kid who came from a Division I AA school, not used to the big bright lights and playing in front of 80,000 fans week in and week out. Jalen Hurts, this is nothing for him. This is old hat.
Yeah, Alabama, Oklahoma. Yeah.
Right. He's played on the biggest stage, national championships. So, I honestly, I think it is. It's time for Wentz to pack his bags and put your house up for sale.
No, and look, I think it's best for him to, like I said, take a seat right now, sit back, see what's going on, maybe see how Jalen Hurts plays, how he lets That has to be a record for. Oh no, there's no doubt about that, Joe. It is a record. I mean, and it's a mistake, But you like your team. Your team has the same thing, because he's a Cowboys fan, and look with Dak, the Cowboys look smart. I mean, I think now they're going to have to pay Dak, obviously, but if the Eagles would have went with the Dallas' strategy, we would be in a total different situation than we are right now, and both our teams. And see. Joe, your team is in trouble because you gave tons of money to other players, a la Ezekiel Elliott and Amari Cooper, who aren't giving you the return you need. So the Eagles and the Cowboys are both in a lot of trouble with these contracts they've given the players.
You're right. It's thanks, Angela. Yeah, Cowboys, they did. They paid too many other people and not their quarterback. But I think the Cowboys have a great opportunity to walk away from Dak and move on. And really, because, come on, I hate to say this, Jay, but they're in kind of cap hell too. They can't really afford to pay him.
Yeah. Well, let's see what their pick is this year, because they're going to have a high pick. They're right now, I think, around 5. So do they draft a franchise QB and move on from Dak? I don't know. I think they're going to keep Dak. I mean, let's not forget they were 3-3, and then, or 2-3, I think. And then since Dak's gone, they're 1-6. So I don't know, but their bigger problem is I think Tony Pollard.
That'll never happen. But okay, Wentz for Prescott.
Yeah, no, I don't think I can't believe I'm going to say this. I would do that if I were the Eagles, but I don't think that'll happen, obviously.
Why? Jalen Hurts is going to be fine. I mean,
we'll see. Yeah, I mean, but Joe, I think your bigger problem is, like I said, I think Tony Pollard is better than Ezekiel Elliott right now. He looks more explosive. Paying Zeke was a problem, and you can't pay a running back that kind of money. I mean, running backs, you need to try to draft a running back like Miles Sanders for the Eagles. Get a guy like that in the second round, let him pay, and then when it comes time to pay him, let him go elsewhere. I hate to say it, but running backs are in a precarious position. It's really tough, and you only pay a special few. Christian McCaffrey, because you look at the deals. The Gurley deal didn't work out. Zeke's deal isn't going to work out. Yeah, I agree, Jay. I think Jerry would love to get Trevor Lawrence. I agree. It's just, I think the Jets are going to take him unless, what if Jerry comes up and says, we'll give you the 5th pick and Dak to get Trevor Lawrence? The Jets may take that because you're getting a good quarterback and the 5th pick in the draft. You wouldn't think about that?
Coming off an injury. Wait, he's coming off an injury
Yeah.
And you have to pay the man. That's the problem. Why am I going to have to pay the guy when I can get Trevor Lawrence and still have 5 years without having to pay the guy? To me, that's terrible. But it is the Jets. I can see the Jets doing something asinine like that. But
but Coach, the Jets have a lot of positions to fill. Don't get me wrong. You always want to get that quarterback, and they do have a lot of capital from the Adams trade.
It would have to be. I mean, if I'm the general manager, it's going to be the 5th pick, Dak, next year's first round pick, and maybe another pick before I do.
Way too much.
Come on, you got
Coach,
the first pick.
Hold on. Let me talk. You're giving Dak and the number 5 pick for the first round pick. Dak's a franchise QB, whether you like it or not. Now you do got to pay him, but still, you're not going to get another 1-2. You're getting a franchise. That's a little much. That ain't ever going to happen. Jerry's not that dumb.
You ain't getting Trevor Lawrence. So.
Then they're not. Now, and Joe, I agree. They don't use Zeke, and that was the problem before. Garrett didn't use Zeke, but Jerry Jones better address the coaching situation. He better not.
Nick, we got a call coming in. Let's jump on the phone line here. You're in the huddle. Okay. Hello. Oh, I guess not.
Okay.
All right, we lost. Sorry, man.
Yeah. But no, I think Jerry Jones needs to move on from McCarthy. I think you got to, realize you made a mistake there. Get rid of him and get some new blood in there. The offense is stale. He's stale. The defense is, terrible. I mean, they need to move on and get somebody new in there, some new blood. Because you look at Dallas. They got a ton of talent on offense. You just need to get – honestly, I know a lot of teams like to go for that young, hot offensive coach. If I was Dallas, I maybe hire the defensive coach and then try to get a young, good, offensive coordinator. It's Jared.
It's Jared.
Yeah.
Call from Jared DiGirolamo. To accept.
You're in the huddle.
Hey guys, it's Jared in Pittsburgh. How you guys doing?
Great. How you doing, Jared?
What's up, Jared?
Hey guys, what's new? However,
we're talking a little football.
Yeah, tough week for the Steelers, Jared.
2 games tonight. However, we got one college game, we got one pro game.
Right. Big game in the NFL tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Rams and Aaron Donald are going to go after Mr. Noon tonight. I think Mr. Noon is going to be in for a little surprise tonight by Mr. Donald and the Rams. I think the Rams are going to, no pun intended, ram them right into the ground in SoFi tonight. I think it's going to be very ugly to watch, Howard. I think the Rams are going to dominate tonight.
Yeah.
And as far as the college game goes, I mean, you got Pittsburgh and Georgia Tech tonight. Pat Narduzzi and the Panthers 5-5. I mean, they already said they want to go to a bowl. I think you talk about a guy who's right now on a short leash here in Pittsburgh as far as coaches go. He is that guy. However, they'll get to 6-5. They'll get to the bowl, and maybe whoever they play in a few weeks, just a subpar bowl, they'll finish 7-5. And then, of course, the big question is, does he come back for another year at Pittsburgh? Right now, at this point, I'm saying no. He's not coming back at all.
Well, we'll see, because good friend of the program, the wide receiver coach there, Chris Beatty, is big friend of the program here.
Yeah, and they've had a tough year too in Pittsburgh, dealing with COVID and all this.
Right.
Now, Jared, what do you think about the Steelers against the Bills? That opened up. The Steelers were a favorite, and now they're a 2.5-point underdog.
This is going to be a challenge for them, no question about it. This is going to be a very tough game for them on Sunday night. I mean, Josh Allen, you saw what he did the other night, however, against Frisco. The Steelers are banged up big time going into this game. You have no Joe Hayden. You have Connor back, Howard. You might not have Spillane. Now you might not have Vince Williams either. I mean, the Steelers are walking into Buffalo a walking and wounded team, however. And I hate to say it, I want to say they win, and if they do win, it's going to be close, 33-30. But you know what? I'm going to go against the grain, surprisingly. I think Pittsburgh is going to lose this one, 31-24. I think Buffalo's going to pull off a win on Sunday.
Yeah, and Jared, I like the Redskins Monday. I called the Redskins outright. But the one thing Pittsburgh needs to get away from, Big Ben's thrown the ball over 50 times 3 straight games. They got to get to that running game. I understand Connor was hurt and Pouncey's out, but you need to run the ball a little bit, and you're putting too much on Big Ben. And then
for 2 weeks in a row, however, it has been,
and the drops too, Jared. The drops have been crazy.
But let me ask you this, though, how talking about pathetic as it can be, and I mean, not to basically just take a jab here, but I'm going to have to. What is going on with your beloved Eagles, however? I mean, Doug Peterson right now is on the hot seat in Philly, and Carson Wentz not playing Sunday.
That seat's not hot. It's on fire. It's tortured.
Yeah. No, it's bad, Jared. And look, Jeffrey Lurie is going to have a lot of big decisions to make. I mean, you got to make decisions on coach, GM, and your quarterback at the end of the year. So a lot of big decisions for Jeffrey Lurie. And the other thing too, Jared, was the Steelers
over the cap.
Yeah, and the other thing with the Steelers too, a ton of drops. They had 7 drops on Monday, and they had a bunch of drops in the Ravens game the week before. So, we'll see what happens with the Steelers, but they don't want to lose that bye to the Chiefs, because if you lose that bye to the Chiefs are probably going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, no question about it. I feel right now, I mean, the Chiefs are the team in the AFC, however, and Pittsburgh, I mean, until a few weeks ago, were one of the top 3 now, however. If they take another step back here, however, you're looking at a 3, maybe a 4 seed, however, and all of a sudden you have some teams are going to come up to take that number 2 seed, and the question is which one of the teams is going to move up to a 2.
Yeah, no.
Let me ask you one last question real quick. I know you guys talk all sorts of sports. What do you make of this Paul George situation today with that new contract he got with the Clippers today? I think it's asinine, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I wouldn't have paid him. Look, there were a lot of questions in the playoff with him, with effort. He came out and talked about Doc Rivers, too, after he left. So, I just don't know, Paul. Look, Kawhi, I have no problem with. Kawhi's a player. This guy, he's a finals MVP. But Paul George has more to prove, so I agree with you on that, Jared.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys.
All right,
well,
thanks for the call, Jared. We appreciate it. And then,
so I will talk to you guys soon.
Sounds good, Jared. Thanks,
Happy birthday, buddy.
And then, can you put up what Joe Fuller said? Joe, if I said Dallas should hire Mike Nolan, I should be drug tested on the spot. I'm saying maybe Dallas should hire a defensive, one of those, the great, maybe like a guy like the Giants D coordinator, and put a head coach. Well, yeah, because you want him there. But I'm saying for head coach, because that's what they need to fix most. They have offensive weapons, and if you can get that line healthy, I think any offensive coordinator can get that Dallas Cowboys offense playing. It's just the defense that needs to be fixed. I mean, obviously you got to bring talent in too, but that defense has so many issues. Maybe you go to the defensive side of the ball and just hire an offensive coordinator and try to get – I love Robert Saleh from the 49ers, the defensive coordinator. Maybe you bring a guy like him as coach. But Harbaugh, he struggled at Michigan. Yeah. I wouldn't bring him in. He couldn't even get a quarterback to Michigan. I mean, I would not hire him as an NFL coach. I know he had success with the Niners, but I don't know, man. I wouldn't give him an opportunity. And what's going on, Dante?
Now, I was reading the thing. I lost my train of thought, as I do.
What a surprise.
Surprise with that. But, I forgot exactly where I was going with
we were talking, obviously, about the Cowboys. No, we were talking about Harbaugh. I don't know if that was it, but, yeah, you were probably right, Joe. Harbaugh is a pro coach, not a college coach, but he had success in college too. I mean, let's not forget that's where he started. He went to Stanford.
He put Stanford back on the map, kind of. You know.
Yeah, and then obviously, I'm drawing a blank on the coach of Stanford's name. I don't know why. Shaw, was it David Shaw? Yeah, he goes in there after Harbaugh and stabilized the program, but. I don't know that somebody's going to give Harbaugh a shot after you go to college and, because he, look at the end of the Niners run. He was struggling. They weren't as good. He goes to college and, man, what a disappointment. Everybody thought Michigan was going to be back on the map and bring titles and beat Ohio State. Yeah. And let's be honest. I think Michigan is I hate to say it like this, but we're kind of okay with the whole COVID situation. They were a 28-point underdog to Ohio State this weekend. And let me tell you this, I wouldn't have took the 28. If I had to, I would have bet Ohio State. So, I mean, think about that. 4-touchdown underdog. How did you get to that? So, I would hope that you moved on.
With the Big Ten because, but before we get into the Big Ten and all this, the BS with that,
right.
I believe that, Rex Ryan, to go back to talking about coaches and how they got kind of screwed, was Rex Ryan going to Buffalo instead of like a place like I thought he was a better fit in Atlanta because if you remember, Buffalo's offense was horrible. They had a real good defense. And then you bring Rex in and he tries to change the defense to his defense.
Right.
And now you had two, both were screwed up. And that's
now, Coach, I couldn't agree more because, where Rex always struggled, he could fix the defense, but the offenses were so bad. He goes to Atlanta, you got Matty Ice, you got Julio Jones.
Right.
He fixes the defense. At that point, Shanahan was the coordinator. Right. That might have worked out well. I agree with you on that. So, and that's why I was saying kind of with Dallas, maybe. But, one thing I heard, too, to go quick, people were saying about the Raiders hiring Greg Williams. I mean, did you not see what happened? First of all, he gave you a gift last week in that win.
Look, he fell on the sword for the New York Jets. He fell on the sword. Every Jets fan, they should put a statue on the Jets side of the stadium of him. They should give him a Super Bowl ring if Trevor Lawrence wins the Super Bowl with the Jets. They should give him a ring. He
wouldn't fit with the Raiders. The Raiders are a 4-3 defense. But the Raiders are a 4-3 defense.
That guy's getting a job before Adam Gase is. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That guy survived.
Coach, hold on. But he's had some problem with other head coaches. So as you know, if you're a head coach, you don't like a defensive coordinator, it's going to give you problems. But with the Raiders, they've been drafting 4-3. You're not going to bring in a 3-4 defensive coordinator. Right. Max Crosby's not a 3-4 linebacker, so you'd have to move on from him. Farrell's not a 3-4 linebacker. They're 4-3 defensive end. Yeah, it's a fit. And Greg Williams, obviously the most success he had was in New Orleans with the Saints when they won a Super Bowl. Right. I mean, he does bring pressure, and he is a good defensive coordinator.
Listen, he did a great job with the
but it needs to be. I'm saying the fit's not there, though, Coach. That's my point. They got a 4-3. Gruden's always run a 4-3, so the fit's not there, and that would be a disaster. I mean, he's got to go to somewhere where obviously it's a built-in 3-4 defense, and you're not going to be switching personnel.
I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah, and can you put up what Joe said about changing the rules? I think he's talking about the Big Ten, obviously. Right. I mean, Joe, what were they going to do if you don't allow Ohio State in the Big Ten championship? I mean, they're by far the best team. What I think is kind of unfair is Ohio State might be in the playoff, and they're 6-0. And you see teams like Florida and Texas A&M that have probably a better resume, or a team like Notre Dame, let's say they lose a close game to Clemson. Notre Dame shouldn't be in the playoff over Ohio State when they have a win over Clemson, albeit minus Trevor Lawrence. But then if you play them closely in the ACC championship, it's kind of not fair. Ohio State, their biggest win's Indiana. And what do we know about Indiana? Oh, they beat Penn State. Penn State stinks. They beat Michigan. Michigan stinks. They beat Wisconsin. Wisconsin has 2 losses. So, to me, the Big Ten should be penalized a little bit because that Big Ten, were the ones who were sitting on their hands while the SEC and all them were doing their thing.
Look, the Big Ten sat on their hands and jumped the gun before everybody else about canceling the season, and then and they decided to just sit on their hands. Now, why wasn't it when you were canceling all these games, the teams that weren't affected by COVID, why couldn't they play each other? Then you would have got your games in, but instead, you thought you were the big guy on the block and you got confused because the SEC kicked you in the nuts and said, look, little boy, you understand there's men over here. Okay. Yeah. And that's what happened. So the Big Ten just doesn't deserve anything.
No, I agree. And Stiz, let us know if you got any prop bet tonight, buddy. What did you just put? How about the Giants getting some flex? Yeah, we were talking about that, and I know one person who's not happy about that is Jerry Jones, because the team that got flexed out was the Cowboys. But you know what? Good move for the NFL. The Giants are headed in the right direction. They're an exciting team right now.
The Browns are finally relevant in some people's eyes, even though
it's a big game.
But it's fine.
Giants are vying for the NFC East, and the Browns are 9-3, playing good football. I'm fine with it. In fact, I like seeing different teams as long as they're relevant. Right now, the Cowboys aren't relevant. The Eagles aren't relevant. So I don't want to see them on Sunday or Monday night or Thursday night. And I really love our slate this week. You got Patriots-Rams tonight in a rematch of the Super Bowl a couple years ago. You got Steelers-Bills on Sunday night in what's going to be a really good game. And then Monday night, we got Ravens-Browns. So we got 3 good primetime games. We've gotten ripped with a lot of shitty Thursday night and Monday night games. Sunday night is usually always a good game because that's the premier night. That's the package game. That NBC game is like Monday Night Football used to be back in the 90s. Right. So look at Stiz. Let me check some props to make you guys some money. Real quick, Coach, if you don't mind, I'd like to get to a little bit of Phillies news as they're about to hire Dave Dombrowski. I don't know if you heard that.
Hold on.
Hey, it's Nevada Nick. Get ready to
teasing us later.
Money. Nick's pick coming up in the huddle with Coach Muddle. Cha-ching! Dollar bill.
I'm obviously not giving my pick out. But no, the Phillies are about to hire Dave Dombrowski. They say it's close. The way they put it, they're finalizing the deal. I like it. I mean, Dombrowski, obviously he had success with the Red Sox 2 years ago and, helped bring them a World Series. But the Phillies' biggest thing is, too, as you know, Coach, they got to re-sign Rio Malto. They made a lot of cuts within the team, in the front office and everything. All these baseball teams are complaining that they're losing money. Scott Boras is saying there isn't one team that's lost money. So it's going to be a very interesting offseason in regards to free agency. Trevor Bauer out there, Rio Malto out there. Let's see what the Mets do. Do they spend a ton of money? So,
Angela, I'll send you the clip so you can use it when he's on.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them we did when we were at the old when we had all the equipment we had.
When we
actually
had a real studio.
Yeah, and we had a professional working with us telling me, I had to do that thing like 200 times. Yeah, it wasn't. It was kind of like when Rocky did the cologne thing. I was like, Rocky, I steal mainly. You know what I mean? And he was like, I was having all kinds of trouble. So, I was helped by a mutual friend of mine and Coach's in the studio at the old 4-letter place we used to work for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lose your train of thought again, Coach? Where'd you freeze? Oh, yeah, you're frozen right now, Coach.
Am I?
There he is. I was like, you know what? And you are a mush, dude. You are a mush. This is the guy that texted me on Sunday, Jets win. And I had the Raiders in a suicide and all these teases for hundreds of dollars. And then I was like, oh, good. Coach might have mushed him, and he did. And then tonight, what StreamYard? You notice nothing's been freezing or anything? Coach, why don't you go do the rest of the show from the bathroom? Because that's where you belong. Look, he's frozen again. Look at that face. Looks like the Joker. Where'd he go? Well, it looks like finally we have the Nevada Nick show the way it should have been from the start. As Coach has dropped off. Oh, there he is. Yeah. See, Coach, you had to mush us. Now you're freezing. What's going on?
I have no idea now.
All right, look, that the porn you were watching in the right, drop that out. X out of that. Get out of that stuff. We don't want that. Yeah, they didn't, Angela, but he texted me, Jets win. And the first thing I saw, you don't do that, I said to myself, because the game wasn't over, even though Gruden was horrible at clock management. But I got lucky, obviously, with the Raiders win, as did your Raiders getting that W and pretty much savoring their season. The Raiders should put a statue of Greg Williams out, too. After that play.
Well, look, here's the thing. It's not – I don't fault Greg Williams for that call, like everybody is.
Mhm.
It's why didn't they never got the pressure. They get
Coach,
pressure
come on.
there.
No,
It's
you're
totally
right.
different.
But coach, you're a coach. With 12 seconds left or 10 seconds, whatever it was, you don't put zero coverage when Raiders have no timeout with no safety back there. I have no problem bringing pressure, but you don't run zero coverage. You don't do that, and you know that, coach. You need a guy or two back deep to make sure if they do make the catch that they're keeping it in front of the end zone and tackling them, and, the clock's running out and the game's over. So, but honestly, too, I think Red Williams was tired of Adam Gase. I think it's funny that Adam Gase actually fired somebody because that guy doesn't belong in high school football or peewee football, let alone the NFL. I mean, what a joke. But, it is what it is. You want to move on to tonight's game, Coach?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, so, a good game tonight, obviously. You got Rams and you got the Patriots who, looked all but dead a couple weeks ago. I think they've won 4 or 5. I think they were 2-5. Yeah, and they've gone 4-1. They're 6-6, back in the playoff picture, kind of on the outside looking in. But look, it's the Patriots. I wouldn't doubt the Patriots and Bill Belichick. So I think I would call this definitely a must-win tonight because after tonight they do have the Jets to end the year in a game they should win. But they almost lost to the Jets earlier in the year. So, but this one is in Foxborough.
Yeah, but they're playing a lot better than they were earlier.
Oh, no, you're right. I agree 100%. They're running the ball effectively, and the defense is playing lights out. But they got a tough stretch here, Coach. You got the Rams tonight on a short week, and then they play the Dolphins and the Bills. So you got 3 weeks of playoff caliber teams all playing good football. So it's going to be tough for the Patriots. And, look, I got a rooting interest in it because I took the Patriots under 8.5 wins. So I'm hoping they lose tonight. And, I'll give my pick out now. So Rams opened up -6. That line has been bet down to Rams -4. So a lot of Patriots money coming in. And I have always said I didn't love the Rams at 6, but I would have bet the Rams at 6. I like the Rams at 4. I really do. So I'm going to go Rams -4 tonight. I think you got a little revenge factor as they lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Different teams, though. The Rams were much more run-oriented then with Gurley, and then obviously going with the play pass. They pass the ball a lot more now. And the Rams' defense is better now, too. You got Jalen Ramsey in there. So I just think, look, I really think the Patriots are going to struggle to get any type of offense going against this Rams defense, especially through the air. And if I'm the Rams, I want to get up early and force Newton to throw the ball, which he hasn't been able to do. Because if you leave the Patriots in the game, their formula has just been run, 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 wear you down. And if you stay in the game with that good defense, play good defense late, wear your team down, and wear you down in the fourth quarter. And it can work. If you keep them in the game, you're talking about the best who's ever done it in regards to situational football and Bill Belichick. So if I'm the Rams, I want to get ahead and make force Cam Newton to throw the ball, and I think they'll be okay. So I like the Rams -4 tonight.
All right, thanks, Ed.
Yeah, all right, Ed. No, not Ed Hockley, Ed Sheeran tonight. What's going on, Jason Dean?
So
big one for you guys this week, buddy. Real big one. And it's I'm not that game. I'm going back and forth on Raiders Colts. Obviously, I don't know that it's a great matchup for the Raiders because Raiders tend to struggle with really good defenses. They played
Gruden can't make adjustments.
Yeah, but they played 2 top 10 defenses this year when they played them. The Bucs, they lost that game, and the Patriots, they lost that game. Now, obviously, they did play the Saints, but at that time, the Saints weren't a top 10 defense, and they were missing Michael Thomas and Davenport and another important defensive player. But, hey, look, you would hope the Raiders, after the last 2 weeks, are going to come out this week. I would hope. Because it's December football now, and right now is the time you really get things. You got to be playing your best football. So you would hope the Raiders are going to come out to play. And there's been conflicting reports with Josh Jacobs. I think it's really, really important that Josh Jacobs plays on Sunday because the Raiders need some sort of running game. It just it too, Coach. You run the ball. You slow the other team down. You keep the other team's offense off the field, which is the Raiders' weakness, is their defense. So I think it's important that Jacobs plays. Sneak peek Thursday prop. Give me longest TD of the game over 38.5 yards. Okay. And if it is, I would think it'd be coming from the Rams. Unless
right. I don't see that coming from New England.
No, unless it's obviously a long run. Put up what Angela said. And it's the truth. That's how it is with the Raiders. You're torn between losing 43-3 or winning 34-30. And that's the Raiders this year. It's just been, and look, I don't want you if you look at the Raiders have had some things fall their way too. Let's be honest. That Jets game could have very well been a loss.
Right.
That Chargers game could have well been a loss. They got helped with the Ravens having the whole COVID issue. Because, obviously, if that don't happen, I think the Ravens would have beat the Steelers, and now the Ravens would be ahead of the Raiders as well. So they've had, and obviously you had the Saints in the second game of the year when the Saints were a much different team than they are now. And obviously Michael Thomas and Davenport were out. No, I didn't see that.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't see. That's not good for. I'm sure he won't be umpiring baseball anymore.
Yeah, right.
That's that's not a good look. Not a good look for Major League Baseball, and I'm sure that's not something we're gonna. You probably won't hear a lot about it because those are not things you want your organization associated with. Yeah, I don't think he practiced today, Stiz. But I know Angela mentions, I think, that she had heard he might play. And I did see something, too, because after Angela told me that, I looked it up, that said that they're expecting Josh Jacobs and Trent Brown to play. So I am not I'm not sure. But with the Raiders, they got to split between the Colts and Dolphins. I mean, it would be great for them if they win both. But they got to split between the Colts and Dolphins.
Oh,
and
then froze up. What the hell?
They must beat the Chargers and the Broncos, obviously.
I can't. Unbelievable.
Jason Dean, you got a big game
in there.
Well, Coach, you're talking over me. I'm still good.
Yeah, you're having trouble.
I'm not having trouble. You are. I'm good.
Unstable. I'm wired in today. I'm
good. You're the one.
No, but it's telling me there's a bad internet. I'm plugged into the damn wall. So I don't understand it.
It's your internet, not mine. Everybody can hear me. But big Jason Dean, huge game for you next week as Clemson and Notre Dame will be playing for a chance to go into the playoff.
Right. I think it's going to be huge, but I think Notre Dame's in either way, win or lose. I think they're in because I don't think Ohio State's in.
No, but if Ohio State beats Northwestern, Coach, they're going to be undefeated. Yeah, but they were the preseason #1, and they've been in the top 4. But, Coach, are you not watching their seedings every week? They've been in the top 4. So how are they going to be put out if they win?
I don't care. Their quality of work of who they played.
Oh, I agree with you.
Florida or Texas A&M got to go over Ohio State. Those one-loss teams, SEC teams, outweigh a Big Ten Fugazi team. Okay?
Yeah, Coach, I agree with you. But the rankings, they've been in the top 4. So if they win, I don't know how you get them out of there.
Joe, send some money in. Send some money in. Bill,
right? That's great.
Why do you think we're here? So you can send money. Send money.
Yeah. Send it to his OnlyFans site. Jason Dean, I think 4-0 would be a very tough task for the Raiders because like I just said earlier, the Raiders have struggled with top 10 defenses. The Dolphins and Colts, they aren't top 10. They're top 5. So
Coastal Carolina, another team I really like, Joe. I love Coastal Carolina. They just haven't really played any top-tier teams, and that's going to keep them out. Now, if it was an 8-team playoff, I think they sneak in.
Coach, what about Cincinnati? Cincinnati's pretty damn good, too.
I agree. Cincinnati's another team.
Yeah.
So, why don't Ohio State play Cincinnati this week, and let's see.
I would be fine with that. And Coastal Carolina, a big win as a double-digit underdog to BYU last week. BYU was 9-0 as well. Right. So, look, it's It's going to be interesting. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that are almost going to say with this year, it's like an asterisk in college. But once again, we got the same problem because as I've said all year, who are 3 of the 4 teams that are going to be in the playoff? Waiting to see on the outcome of the Notre Dame Clemson. Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. It's an issue, man. They got to change the playoff system.
I agree, but I think Ohio State's out this year. There is no Big Ten. It is ACC, SEC playoff, plain and simple.
He said they should play the Bengals. That's great. They may beat the Bengals without Joe Burrow.
Yeah, right. The Bengals have been playing pretty well prior to that.
Jason Dean, I don't doubt the Raiders, but come on, buddy. Did you watch the last 2 weeks?
I don't know what game you're watching.
No, I mean, look, the Raiders were my them in Arizona were my 2 sleeper teams. And look, the Raiders have showed you this year. They beat the Saints and the Chiefs. They can play with anybody in the league. But then you have games like the Falcons and Jets, and you're just, scratching your head. And I understand, look, their defense struggles. Their defense has given up 24 more points in 10 of the 12 games. And one of those 2 games they didn't give up 24 was the Browns. And it was raining and like 50-mile-an-hour winds. So They probably would have given up 24 in that game too if it was good weather. So that's the problem. But the Raiders are a good defense away from being one of those teams that's vying for an AFC title.
Right. I agree with that. I agree. But, hey, Joe, I think, I think it'll be 8. I don't think they'll go to 16. I think what they need to do is Power 5, the winner of each conference gets in, and then 3 kind of wild card. You have that undefeated Cincinnati or Central Florida team to come in and do that.
Put what Stiz said. I'm really interested in that.
Oh, wait! I have an update. No, she called me and said she sent them. You should have them.
We don't. No. Look at this smirk on his face. We're gonna be waiting for these cookies for years. It ain't ever gonna happen. Look at the smirk. You know what? Coach probably just gave his address out and said I'll deliver those and ate them all. I'll tell you, this guy, something else.
No,
I think
I'm going to call her.
Just get ready for Sunday morning.
Listen, if they're not here, you let me know. I'm going to make her call the damn show Sunday.
All right. Well, you may come on the show Sunday. It's just going to be you, and me and Stiz are going to be on strike. That's what's going to happen.
All right, that's fine.
LeBron James Athlete of the Year. Ugh. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, look, he had a great year with the Lakers. I think of that, giving him the Athlete of the Year is more like a lifetime achievement award kind of, because I mean, look, the guy has been a great athlete and a great player. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one, though. Who would you go with? I think it's Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs, in my opinion.
Oh, wait.
Sorry, Angela.
Cookies went out yesterday. That's what the text says.
We're a sports show, and this guy's more interested in when these cookies went out.
Look,
Come on,
Coach.
Coach.
Help you guys out, man. To tell you, I'm making sure that
I've been running home after work every day to the damn mailman looking for these cookies, and
your
there's
neighbor
nothing there.
probably took them. Your neighbor probably took them.
Yeah. Jason Dean, I get it. I get it. You hate the Chiefs, but come on. I know you, and I know you know football. You can't do nothing but tip the cat to Patrick Mahomes because he's special. And you might not like that, but the guy can ball, man.
Right.
And look, that Super Bowl to come down from 10 and the way he got hurt last year, I mean, he's personally my athlete of the year. And look what he's doing this year. Looking like he might be the MVP again. I mean, for as young as he had, to have a Super Bowl MVP and 2 MVPs possibly, already have one at what, 24, 25, Coach? Pretty damn special. Nope, never will.
So
I don't blame you. I would too.
You pick the game?
Right. Yeah, I like the Rams minus 4. All right, Joe, I'm not running everywhere. We'll go with a brisk walk, all right? A brisk walk, we'll say, instead of running to the mailman, all right? Joe, if I was running, Joe used to be my neighbor. He'd have known you'd have felt the freaking aftershock of me running. it would have been on a Richter scale. So,
well, listen, everyone. I want to thank everyone who's checking us out on YouTube, Twitter, and obviously Facebook. Appreciate everyone. If you haven't already done so, please go over to YouTube, ring the bell, subscribe, so that you know when we send out new content all the time. We appreciate it. Also, check us out on the podcast wherever you listen: Apple, Anchor, Spotify, Google, where all those things.
yeah.
So we all appreciate you guys checking us out, and we'll see everybody Sunday morning for some football Sunday fun day action. And you know, your girlfriend's guru should be joining us if he gets his cookies, and you know, possibly. So you know, and we'll see. So thanks everyone. We appreciate it. Have a great night, and we'll see. That was a good movie, Jason Dean, The Program. Yes.
Great movie.
So all right, everyone, enjoy your night. We'll see everybody Sunday.